thanks for tuning in. Today we got ourselves a real unicorn. I would say it used to be, but now, as you will see, it's not. It's an old Disney TV, pink one, Princess. We're going to go over this every square inch and see what we got here. You might be asking, how did this become in such bad shape? Well, eBay, bad packaging, and I don't know what else before that. It was complete unit when I saw the pictures, and it arrived as not. As you can see, it's pretty dirty, but I don't think that was before. That's an interesting backstory. As you can see, it's got lots of damage. Lots of damage. It's kind of strong, so hopefully we can mend it back together. Got a crack here, and lots of cracks. And some of these connections are kind of corroded, as I'll show you on the back. As you can see, the story on the back isn't much better. It's very dirty. It's been sitting outside. Stickers washed off or worn off. You can see down here, the cable's got some corrosion on it. A little bit of rust on that screw, and then ta-da, it's missing the wire. So, does it work? Who knows? Even the guy from eBay bought it from said he doesn't know. Now, I did get this unit, and he said it has an interesting backstory, that he found it in the junkyard. And well, he saw it there and had the cord already cut off, so he decided, hey, maybe I can sell this or save it to someone who can restore it, which would be me. However, I don't think any of us anticipated that it would be so trashed. But before we get into details, I have just printed this. 3D printed my logo, the best I can do. I don't know, what y'all think? Kind of cool, right? Anyways, back to this thing. So I guess first things first, we'll flip it on its face and then see if we can pull off the back. I hear pieces already falling apart inside. Guess we can spin it here so you can kind of see. I mean, the bottom's still good. See how the cord, it's got a little bit of length to it, so maybe, let's see here. Maybe we can go ahead and see if it works before we even do anything to it. Just go ahead and splice in the cord and see what happens. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Okay, so I spliced in this old cord that I had laying around. I'm gonna plug it in real time. See if we have a fireworks show, or is it going to magically work beautifully? Time will tell. Let's see here. Poke it around the side. All right, here's to hoping. What will happen? All right, it's right on fire. Let's see this. Let's see if we can see it any better. Got some lights on. Nothing's happening. Got a light. Nothing's doing anything. So, is the power button broken? Could be numerous things. Could be something on the inside. I don't know. I hear some clicking on the inside, like a little gentle click. So before we do any more damage, I guess we'll go and open it up and assess. So I don't know if this was by someone else or by Disney. I already know how Disney is. There's like a Torx screw with a center pin in it, of which I don't have any of those. So I think since it's broken already, I got all the other rusty screws out. Let's just see if it pops open and breaks more, because all the other screws seem to have followed that particular method there. And ideally we don't want to break it more, but what can we do, right? Creaking, but that's what it is. Off it goes. Alright, well, I'm going to take y'all with me and we're going to see this together. Get spot here, as you can see, and it's pretty rough, and it has been rained on. Looks, I mean, it smells like it's been rained on numerous times. It smells like an old musty car. I think it's been wet. You guys tell me. Of course, this fly back here, there's still part of the thing on there. Oh boy, aren't we in just for some treats today? She's rough. Can we fix her though? One can hope. I mean, the tube neck looks great. I guess we're gonna have to do some investigations. It does dual stereo, which is cool. And that speaker's like done. Probably sounds like crap, and this one's got holes in it and stuff. This is rough. Looking on the bottom side, hope isn't much more better, I can tell you that much. Maybe some cleaning up. I mean, that'd be nice if that's all it took. Down there, you know, of course I haven't pulled it out yet, but there is mysteries. I guess when you can say left for dead, this fits the bill. Well, I guess there's only one thing to do. Pull out the PCB and clean it up. Alright, so I pulled out the power switch. As you can see, it's not good looking. I also just ohmed it out. It doesn't have any continuity, so possible to clean that up and see if we get it continuity, but pretty sure before I even get to doing that, probably just clean up everything. Just fuse is still good. That's the input wires. So it's not, I mean, for those of us who know how to solder, adding a new wire is a piece of cake. So, you know, this ain't nothing. I think what I'm going to do is try to clean up the PCB the best I can, because it doesn't seem to be that bad. These things are usually pretty durable. I mean, you've probably seen other YouTubers in the foreign countries, they pull them out of the mud. But I have no doubt this TV's been probably rained on for a long time, because when's the last time you've seen that deteriorate, much less the speakers get faded and there's foliage inside this thing. It's rough, musty. We're gonna fix it. So I scrubbed it down with some alcohol, toothbrush. I think it's time for us to see if it works. Kind of dry a little bit, it might have some moisture in it. But let's see here. It's a little touchy though. Working one hand. You can hear it. So I think we'll watch the rest of it. I mean, let's do a time lapse, but we'll start with this alcohol. And I'll work my way throughout this PCB. I'll do a time lapse. You know, that's kind of boring to watch, but I'll let you know if you see anything interesting. And I wouldn't say it's terrible, but it all depends on who you ask. I think it'll clean up. So the bottom's done. You can see, well, it's got like a nice white haze to it now from the alcohol, but it is clean. Top side of the PCB. For those who are pretty familiar with electronics, you can see there's some, you know, corrosion maybe, but not like rust. The coils look okay. Most of the caps look okay. I'm gonna forget scrubbing the top portion of the board for now. I mean, that's garbage, but inside doesn't look so bad. And here, get some light on the situation. Looks bad, but it's nice and clean. It's just that alcohol kind of blended everything together, I guess. Maybe it's total corrosion. I'm gonna clean that up a little better. already scrubbed I scrubbed that PCB, the button one on the bottom. And now we'll stick it back together in a little bit when it dries. Hopefully it'll just turn on. Okay, we got it mostly cleaned up, put back together roughly. Hopefully it won't destroy itself when we plug it in. We're going to do this again in real time. Well, gotta get the proper plug. That one's sticky. What will happen? High voltage has activated. Is it going to display anything? It's more than it was, but it's still not displaying anything. I wonder if we need to give it a minute. I don't want to touch it. So it didn't turn on and bricked itself. Looking at it, I mean, there's, I don't know if that's a cold solder joint or something, but I don't know why this thing doesn't want to focus. Anyways, but that is this wire here. I don't know what exactly it does because it just goes around the perimeter of the screen, but I'm going to resolder it. Try again. Because right now it's bricked. The standby light's not even on. I reflowed that solder joint and another one. Let's see if it gets a standby light. Nothing yet. Power. Brick. So check this out. It actually killed the plug itself. Because right now I got it on this lead, which goes here. And this lead actually does have continuity to this, which is where the fuse is. I've ohmed all that out. It works good, but this one, if I switch it to the other side here, but it's like nothing. Because I'm using one hand, but let's see. See, it's hold on. It's nothing. Somehow it killed the plug itself. That's weird. Okay, next round I have put a more heavy duty cord on there. We're gonna see what happens now. We have standby. It is staying on. All right, we did it. Look at that. Channel. No, it's just, I don't know what that button does. Very cool. I believe this leaves us with one option, and that is to put video to it. Go team. So I put this DTV converter on, right onto that very rusty, corroded thing. No idea if it works. That is powered on. Turning on TV. I immediately hear stuff. Ooh. The picture is actually beautiful. Let's see what else we got. I want some cartoon. We'll go to PBS somewhere here. All right, let's watch some TV. I said, let's watch some TV. Something's not happy. I suppose we'll start by trying to get this apart and seeing what sensitivity it may have, because that seems to be the primary culprit. And it ain't very pretty. I'll start prying it off and I'll show you what I do afterwards. There, she's back.
They're not here. I guess we're waiting again.
Maybe you should look once more.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
They're here!
The speakers are working. Picture looks like new.
Mommy, your if we get separated plan totally worked.
Once we remember.
Turn that down. So what I did is pretty, other than pulling off these rusty covers, it's not so bad on the inside there.
The restaurant
But
is gone.
what did I end up doing? I just reflowed some solder joints around it, said a prayer and sent it. Sure enough, here we are. It's awesome. So I guess what's next is that I'm gonna let it run for a while and make sure it all works good, and then I'm gonna try to clean it up a little bit. I'll basically start on the cosmetics portion, but super. So as we move on to the chassis, or the case anyways, you can see it's definitely not the roughest. One thing I'm happy about is it does have the well, technically all 4 feet. Important things to note, it's got some cracks obviously from the epicness it's gone through. Let's see if we can fix that speaker up a little bit. I mean, obviously it's going to take some scuff marks off, but it doesn't look like it was really well used. Too bad I don't have the remote. And over here, of course, there's a chunk taken out of that corner, which I do have. I got some bits and pieces I pulled out of the box. You can see they're not the best shape, but that big piece laying on top for that bottom corner, which part I haven't found so far is this piece. I mean, it still might be laying inside here somewhere. As far as this part goes, cracks everywhere here. It's got a ton of cracks here, broken. Yeah, it's got broken off screw hole things. Back here where the flyback was, it broke off on. You can see it's still on that part. Aside from there, there's a lot of other things. I mean, the color is obviously faded because there should be the same color, but they're, it's weathered. Try not to make things worse, but you can see on the inside here, it does match pretty well. So we'll have to repaint it maybe if we can. So that's broken. There's the other 2 feet. More cracks. No sticker. But no, this side is probably facing upward. Still got mildew all over it. So yeah, it's gonna need a total redo. I'll have to see what assistance I can find on that somehow. But we're gonna have a restored TV when we're done. As you can see, it's been running for a while now, it's still working, so great news. So if something's been rained on, don't assume it's bad. I mean, you can see how the tube looks nice and clean. There's no rust or dust in there. Even that part's even like weathered. It's crazy. So I'm gonna try an experiment, taking this soldering iron with this tip. And I kind of done it once briefly before, which it did hold it pretty well, but then I'm gonna take some baking soda and some super glue, kind of make a concoction in one trial area. See how that goes if I want to apply that throughout this whole chassis here. But let's go ahead and start. So as you can see, it wants to melt pretty easily. So I'm going to take this soldering iron. I'm just going to slowly melt the plastic, kind of blending it in, just to give it a good bond on the bottom. As you can see, it's kind of blending in. Now it's going to slowly melt the rest of it down, just enough to bond it so I can apply super glue on the other side. And if you're wondering, yes, it does stink. So I kind of melted it pretty good around the perimeter of that scratch there. Around here was all cracked. And as you can see on this side, Still looks the same. However, it is bonded, at least on that side. Because I don't really want to sand it, because that's probably not going to be easy to sand. That's why we're going to try the super glue and baking soda in this section. And just see how it turns out, because that's a little bit more easy to sand, and at least it doesn't, it'll just stay nice and smooth. And I did a sample just right there in the center to here. Poured super glue on it. I'll show you guys in this fatter area. We'll see if that works out well. So basically, I'm just going to take the super glue and just dump a bunch in the hole. Like a lot. And I'm going to take some of this here powder. Baking soda, not powder. I'll tap it on there like so. Alright. I know you're supposed to mix this a little differently, but just kind of mash it in there. Let it do its thing. I notice it comes off the surface pretty easily, but it seems to stay more in the hole. But we'll blow it out in a minute and see. Just kind of rubbing on it. Gonna work it in there. Alright, I'm gonna blow it off and I'll show you the final result. Alright, you kind of see how it is. It's nice and dry already. I literally waited like 20 seconds. There's nothing on my finger, so I imagine there's more in the crack, but hopefully we'll just do this experiment in this section here. And then I'll sand it after a day or so, which would be another time for you guys. And if that works out well, nice and strong, we'll continue with, you know, the rest of the broken plastic. If not, then we'll try another item. So I went in and finished plastic welding all the cracks. As you can see, especially there is a lot of mess. And finished putting these back on, super glued and plastic welded. Looks like butt, you know, Fido's butt, but on the outside you can't even notice. Mostly on this, like I said, this corner here. You can see it's just no discoloration. I went in and super glued this because I didn't like using the baking soda. It just makes it look ugly. Although I did sand it already, so hopefully it should be unnoticeable once we paint it. And that's a scratch, but all the other pieces together, plastic welded and super glued. I think it's a little sanding. We'll get that painted up. So I took this sander with 120 fine, and then I started sanding. Now you can see the cracks still, but I did fill it in with super glue. But upon touching it, focus, like I do not feel crack or any bump. And I did a lot of the other ones, so I'm hoping when I paint it that you won't see anything. And this one just totally dissolved away to nothing, so I think I did pretty good. Nice and strong. I guess we'll clean it up and paint it next. So before painting, I can at least wash out all this mildew and mold off of it, get it nice and clean. We'll go from there. All right, sorry for the noise, but we're gonna go ahead and try sample this and see how it turns out. It's mostly where the crack is. That's what I'm mostly curious about. So I pulled off the plastic hearts off the side just to reveal, ready for paint, but look, obviously it has faded a lot. And using this new paint I have, I'm kind of on the fence about it as far as the finish, because it's like straight up flat, whereas this has a little bit of finish to it, but you know, whatever. It's only got one coat on there, but for the most part, you know, what you see is what you get. And we'll see how it turns out, but I got the rest of it cleaned up, sticker off, what left of it. It'll match pretty well, I think. Here's the finished product. It saved you guys from seeing it, but I'd say it looks pretty good now. So I'm going to remount these pretty easily. Just pop in, let's glue them. And we'll go ahead and finish up this case next. So we'll go ahead and move on to this bottom corner with this piece. I'm just gonna put some super glue here and plastic weld it. It kind of fits in there pretty easily actually. Almost when it's like nice and flush. Don't see it too much. It's the bottom corner, so I'm not gonna do nothing on the outside. Just gonna weld it in with some super glue, move on with our day. While this piece dries, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna replace this power cord here. It's pretty easy. All I have to do is solder it there. Got this from Walmart for $2. I'm just gonna cut the head off. Brand new power cord. Honestly, if you guys ever come across these as broken, it's like really easy to change if you know how to solder. It's just 2 connections. Polarity does not matter because it's AC. Just swap out the cord with a new one. Simple as that. And with it soldered, it took like 3 minutes. Got a nice fresh brand new cord, as well as I kind of pieced together this spot. It's not the prettiest. I know I could have made it smoother, but good enough for the application. Next, I'm going to try to clean up the face of this because obviously it's got some marks. Not sure how well we'll do, but hopefully we'll get most of it. And a lot of it looks like it's pretty well, part of the TV at this point. You can see right here in the center of the screen, it's kind of white, so the paint does come off. We'll go ahead and use our typical test stuff. I'm going. As y'all can see on this area here, it's still super dirty. I haven't done this side. And of course you can see how chewed up the speaker is, which I have secured with glue already. So we're going to do this one real time. So I'm just taking this Tough Stuff spray. Just going to kind of get it all up on there. Then I'm going to take my brush, kind of go over this stuff. Let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? Just kind of noodle it in there. You can see the AV connection's cleared up nice suddenly. Now just kind of hit some of the holes there. I mean, this is all unseen, so I'm not going to go shoving this in there. And then I'll take this pretty well used sponge with the rough side and just kind of work it. And so let me zoom out a little bit. There we are. And a lot of these marks ain't going nowhere. They're pretty well embedded in there. Right, and then I got in this bucket of warm water. It don't matter the temperature, it just happened to be warm. Mr. Microfiber rag. Just give it a quick wipe down. If you got compressed air or something, you just kind of blow it out in here. Whereas me, I'll just blow it out with my mouth, which I will not show you on camera. So this is after doing it. Obviously there's lots of deep scratches and gouges. You can see the discoloration of the impact, but you also can see how clean it is. I'm going to try a little bit of car wax on some test spots, but most likely this is the end result with the black marks, but kind of be no reflection of its history, but it is cleaner. And of course I'll detail a little bit more off camera. Yeah, the wax didn't help any. You can see it's got the white spots here, which was already there before I waxed, but I tried a sample here, did nothing. And then down here, I mean, if I rub it hard enough, it's just going to become white. So let that be a reminder. In the meantime, we'll take some of this invisible glass and detail the screen there. And then we'll button it up with the case down there, put the PCB back together, and then see what happens. The PCB is back installed. All the wires are connected back up where it's supposed to be. I went in and cleaned up the bottom here a little bit, which wasn't that bad. I'm going to power it on and make sure everything works first before I throw on the back part. So we'll take this untested cord first and plug it in. So far so good. Have a red light, power, high voltage sounds. And we got that blue screen again. You know what that means? There's a bad solder joint somewhere. That's not cool at all. So I found that something on here is actually, I don't know if it's the tube itself or a pin or something's probably corroded a little bit, but kind of beating on it. Fire it back up. All right, I think we're good. Well, there we have it. Took a little bit of fighting to get it on. I don't know if the shape has changed a little or something. Mostly in this corner. It's a little hard. The gaps are actually factory, believe it or not, if you look online. There's a little bit of a difference here. You can see it gets a little tighter there. But I don't have a screw there yet because it had one of those Disney certified screws, I think, where you're not supposed to tamper with them too much. It's got a little thing in the middle, Torx. Anyways, but as you can see, we got ourselves a TV. Well, guys, thanks for watching. As you can see, it was a lot of work to get it to this point, and it does work beautifully. And then cosmetically, it's good enough, right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time.